بسم الله والحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وأهل بيته الطيبين الأطهار، وما بعد. but they lack wisdom. Wisdom is a very important element in learning and teaching. That's why Allah said in the Quran about the Prophet Muhammad, Allah said about the Prophet Muhammad يُعَلِّمُهُمُ الْكِتَابَ وَالْحِكْمَةِ. He teaches them the kitab, the book, but he teaches them wisdom, how to apply the book. وَكَمْ مِنْ يعني عالم ليس بحكيم. How many people have knowledge but they don't have wisdom? And those are more the dangerous people. When our mashayikh said, جهل العلماء, the ignorance of scholars. A person have to have wisdom and to have knowledge. The Sahaba radiallahu alayhim, they were in a trip, and one of the Sahaba has a janaba, which is a state that require ghusl before you pray. But he has a wound in his head. He asked the other companion, he said, what do you think? They said, we have no option for you except to take a shower. He said, but it's cold and I have a wound in my head. He said, no, it doesn't matter. He took a shower with the wound in his head and he died. Well, they come to Rasulullah and said, you have caused him to die. He said, you should have asked. You could have enough for him to do tayammum, dry ablution. Well, at the time, the Sahaba gave them an answer, but at that time, they didn't have the hikmah to realize this water can kill this person if he uses the water. But it's very important for us to have ilm, knowledge, and hikmah. You know, the dangers of this is that sometimes prematurely people become leaders before knowledge. قالوا تفقه قبل أن تسود. تفقه قبل أن تسود. Have some fiqh before you assume leadership. And not only fiqh, have wisdom. The problem that the internet have created many shuyukh prematurely. It's true. And not only that, they judge all other shuyukh. And they're famous because they cursing everybody else. Astaghfirullah al-Azim. And by the way, I'm not talking about any of my friends and mashayikh I'm talking about. I'm not talking about the leaders in the Muslim community being respected. I'm not talking about those. I'm talking about people who criticize those well-known scholars, in our community. Okay? Bismillah. And I tell people that all the scholars that we invite here in this masjid, they are the ones that want you to learn from them. You know what the list is. From Yaqeen, Shuyukh of Yaqeen, Shuyukh of Miftah, Shuyukh of Zaytuna, Shuyukh of Qalam, and the list goes on and on. Shuyukh of Maqasid. Those are the mashayikh that we introduce to the community because we want the community to learn from them. He says, وَأَنَّ مَنْ عَصَى اللَّهَ تَعَالَى عَنْ مَعْرِفَةٍ وَعِلْمٍ فَجِنَايَتُهُ أَفْحَشٍ. Whoever disobey Allah after come to know what Allah wants from them and he knows the halal and haram and then they do it, their sin is greater than others. Because a person have not thanked Allah and fulfilled the ni'mah of knowledge. قُلْ هَلْ يَسْتَوِي الَّذِينَ يَعْلَمُونَ وَالَّذِينَ لَا يَعْلَمُونَ. Say if the people have knowledge and people have no knowledge, they become equal. People of knowledge and people not knowledge, they're not equal. لذلك قال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم: يؤتى بالعالم يوم القيامة فيلقى في النار فتندلق أقتابه ويدور بها كما يدور الحمار بالرحى فيطوف بها للنار فيقولون: ما لك؟ يقول: كنت آمر بالخير ولا أتيه وأنا عن شر وأتيه. They bring their scholars in day of judgment and throw him into the hellfire, and goes around his stomach. They said to him, why, people of hellfire? He said, I asked you to do the good, but I never done it, and I asked you not to do wrong, and you have done it. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave an example of a person of knowledge and not applying knowledge. Allah said, Quran, مثل الذين حملوا التوراة ثم لم يحملوها كمثل الحمار يحمل أسفارا. Those have been given the scriptures and they don't act upon it, like a donkey carrying luggage, carrying books on the application of revelations. And Allah says, وَاتْلُ عَلَيْهِ نَبَأَ الَّذِي آتَيْنَاهُ آيَاتِنَا فَانْسَلَخَ مِنْهَا. One of the mashayikh here, rahimahullah, passed away in Virginia, used to say this ayah, that the examples of a person whom Allah have guided them through his ayat and then they did not apply it. He said this in Salakha Anha. He said the example of فَانْسَلَخَ مِنْهَا, he said this like an example of a person have a garment and took off their garment. And he says because he took his cover, then shaitan followed that person. قال ويكفي العالم فأي عالم لم يتبع شهوته وأي عالم لم يأمر بالخير لا يأتيه فهما خطر للعالم عظم قدره بالإضافة إلى الجاهل فليتفكر في الخطر العظيم. يعني I summarize it in this piece of paper here that what he's saying that a person have to look to the danger of a scholar or a person of knowledge acting like ignorance. He has information in their head, but in their behavior, they act as if they are ignorant. And how many times we have said that Islam is not about information, how much information we may have, but Islam is about transformation. How much we transformed. And that's why Islam is the religion of do. It's not only know, but it's to do it, to apply it. The knowledge is one important element of not to act upon ignorance, but the knowledge is not enough because you have to act upon it. Imam al-Ghazali in his book يا أيها الولد يقول العلم بلا عمل جنون. العلم بلا عمل جنون. That knowledge without, is that what he's saying? Knowledge without actions is insanity. وعمل بلا علم لا يكون. And action without knowledge is not something that could be. It's not possible. Yeah. He said, and a person of knowledge should not claim, especially Sharia knowledge, should not claim that he knows more than the Sahaba radiyallahu alayhim. You know? And he said the Sahabas used to say, يا ليتني لم تلدني أمي. I wish my mother not give birth to me. It's too much. I cannot I don't know this. You ask me something that I have no knowledge of. And so forth. To give another example for that. وكان ذلك خوفا من خطر العاقبة. They used to worry about the consequences in the day of judgment. One of the, important things I want to say is the responsibility of people of knowledge in conveying the truth and have courage to do so. Unfortunately, we have created universities sometimes with so much information without ethics, without akhlaq. That's why we produce sometimes the best people in Wall Street, but they create, financial disasters. We have to be careful of knowledge that has no ethics. لابد للعلم لابد من أخلاق. And if we want to produce something, benefit this country, benefit the world, moral values have to be taught with knowledge. And the most important argument Imam al-Ghazali making here is humility. The more we know, the more humble we should become. Because it is the real outcome of knowledge is humility. Knowledge should not lead to arrogance, but knowledge should lead to humility. نتيجة العلم التواضع ليس الكبر, not arrogance. The more that we know, we come to know that we don't know. You know that? The more a person knows, we come to know that they don't know. And that's why this is, there's three types of people. Person knows, and he knows, or she knows. Person knows, and they know. That's a person you need to ask them because they're expert. Person knows, and he does not remember that he knows or she knows. That's a person forgotten. Remind them. نسي فذكروه. Somebody doesn't know and believe that they know that they don't know. That's a person seeking knowledge. Teach them. Somebody doesn't know and he does not know that he doesn't know. That's the foolish. Avoid them. هذا الأحمق فاتركوه. Because the most dangerous categories is the person doesn't know and he or she does not know that they don't know and they insist that they know. That's dangerous. And therefore, there's a responsibility of people of knowledge to first to practice humility by opening themselves for learning. We have to open ourselves for learning every day. Sometimes a person study hadith and a person in their class will teach them something that they didn't realize. Sometimes we do tafsir. And then somebody says, but also I felt this ayah. A person give you insight that you never knew before. One of the things that I learned from a president of MSA at George Mason University, I keep reminding myself of that incident. They did a very nice program, extremely nice program. That's in the 90s. I don't know, some of you may not be born then. And I went and thanked him. I said, this was wonderful. This person, complete humility, and his head down, he said to me, I know how good it is when I meet Allah. That's what he said to me. I will see how good it is when I meet Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. what triggered me, that he thought about akhirah, thought about ikhlas, about sincerity. I acknowledge what he's telling me. Thank you, Jazakallah khair. That's what he tried to tell me. But I know how good. I said very good program. He said, Jazakallah khair, Imam Majid, I know how good it is when I meet Allah. He thanked me first, and then he said, I will know how good it is when I meet Allah. Like, is it good as in your eyes, or Allah did not accept it? No? And when he told me that, when I was in my car coming back, I was leaving the restaurant coming back, I said to myself, what's the amazing insight this man has given me? I never thought about it this way. Then it reminded me what Ibrahim alayhi salam and Ismail did after they built the Kaaba. After they built the Kaaba, the beautiful masjid, the most important masjid in the world, after they finished it, قالوا ويرفع إبراهيم القواعد والبيت وإسماعيل ربنا تقبل منا إنك أنت السميع العليم. Said, oh Allah, accept it from us. Didn't say, oh Allah, will fulfill what you ask us. Said, oh Allah, I want you to accept it from us. تقبل منا إنك أنت السميع العليم. That, oh Allah, accept it from us. You are the all hearing or knowing. ربنا تقبل منا إنك يرفع إبراهيم القواعد من البيت إسماعيل ربنا تقبل منا إنك أنت السميع العليم. That, oh Allah, accept it from us. You are all hearing, all knowing. ربنا واجعلنا مسلمين لك ومن ذريتنا أمة مسلمة لك وأرنا مناسكنا وتب علينا إنك أنت التواب الرحيم. And they asked Allah to make them Muslims, to stay Muslims. It was all very humbling statement to make, came from two massive prophets of Allah. Now, the second thing, he said also, one of the things that make a person deal with their arrogance is tafakkur, reflections and their actions on themselves, which is how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will have a person stand before him in the day of judgment and will question them in the day of judgment. And then he says, if a person remember that, how long they're going to be standing before Allah, in kasrat nafsuhu wa dhalla wa batala izzuhu wa kibruhu, that a person then will not have arrogance and pride. wa dhahara huznuhu wa khawfuhu, then his sadness and fear would overtaken him. wa lam yatakabbar ala ahad min al-khalq, then he will not become arrogant at all. And then a person should look inside them. One of the problem of knowledge is showing off. One of the greatest problem of anyone have knowledge is displaying information and showing off instead of doing for Allah. When people recognitions, you want to overwhelm people to say that you are impressive, you are this and that. That is the very biggest problem that people have. And then the other problem comes with it is al-hasad. When you see somebody have more knowledge than us, or acceptance, people accept them, then the person will have envy and jealousy toward them. And also it leads to grudge, hiqd. You want people to fail, you want people to make mistakes. He said even this happened between huffaz. A person maybe hafiz the Quran, somebody lead the prayer, and a person could have better voice than them. They want them to make a mistake in their mind, so that person yafrah li khata'ihi. Person praying behind them become happy that the person made a mistake in recitation. هذا حسد, هذا jealousy, هذا envy. أعوذ بالله أعوذ بالله. And therefore a person have to look into themselves, make sure that they don't have that kind of arrogance. الأمر الثاني أن العالم يعرف أن الكبر لا يليق. يعني الله is المتكبر. What كبر means? الكبر is to elevate oneself above others. The only one who deserves elevation above all his creation is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's why a human being should not try to play God. وإنه إذا تكبر صار ممقوتا عند الله بغيضا. Whoever have knowledge and have arrogance, it become disliked, hated by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Because Allah loves to see his servants who are his servants, he or she humble in themselves. إن لك عندي قدرا لم ترى نفسك قدرا. يعني the more a person see themselves of not importance before Allah, the more Allah elevate them. من تواضع لله رفعه. Whoever humbled themselves before Allah, Allah raised their rank and elevate them. That's why, by the way, it's just give me any scholars in the Muslim world. Now, no matter how much they know, and would they claim, that scholar would claim that they know more than Rasulullah. طيب يا أخي, if Rasulullah is your model, the most knowledgeable person in the history of Islam and Muslims, what did he do then? He consulted people. أيها الناس أشيروا علي. Oh, people, give me your opinion. And one of the Sahaba said, Ya Rasulullah, is it decision that you just made, is it a revelation from Allah? Or this is your own strategy? Rasulullah said, my own strategy. He said, Ya Rasulullah, can I suggest something? I think that we need to relocate. And Rasulullah went with him, with his opinion. Khabbab, he went with his opinion in Badr. When they dig in the ditch, before that, Rasulullah asked him, and Salman al-Farisi, radiallahu anhu, came with the idea of digging the trench. And Rasulullah went with his opinion. If he, sallallahu alayhi wasallam, will go to his wife and said, people are not listening to me, I don't know what to do. And she said, Ya Rasulullah, they're not really disobeying you, but they're hoping that you change your mind in Hudaybiyah. My idea is that you go to them, shave your hair, see if they obey you or not. Rasulullah went and did what Umm Salama told him to do, or her suggestions, radiallahu anha. Rasulullah did it, and then the Sahaba started shaving his hair. How comes a person believe that he knows everything? And it cannot be questions, and it cannot be. Doesn't make any sense. You know, and as I said before, how much knowledge you can know about Allah more than being in Isra wal Mi'raj, in ascension? What experience of ghaib? If you know more than what you see in this world, you know about the ghaib, the unseen world. And you go all the way, Sudrat al-Muntaha, where Jibreel alayhi salam couldn't go, come back down to earth and fix your own shoes. And wash your own clothes. And then you go have dinner with somebody who have nothing to offer you except vinegar and dry bread. What is the, fireworks? Really? If a person goes to the moon, come back, the biggest party you can imagine. And he will never walk the same in any place. He might not even touch it. We'll hire a driver. Will not drive the car, his own car. Rasulullah, my point is that knowledge and humility, there's no one knows more than Rasulullah about this religion of Islam. He is very humble. He sat on the ground. He ate with people. He visited the sick. He attended the janazah. He followed the janazah. And a little girl would hold his hand, take him around. Really? Take down your turban. And I'm not saying to you. or jubba. Humble yourself. Sallu ala Rasulillah. This religion was like this. Then all of a sudden we created other things around it. You know? And arrogance showed up, and self-centered, and so forth. That he said, that's why prophets were not arrogant. Imam Ghazali said. قال وبهذا زال التكبر عن الأنبياء عليهم السلام إذ علموا أن من نازع الله تعالى في رداء الكبرياء قصمه. The prophets, all the prophets of Allah come to know, whoever try to pretend that have arrogance and they have arrogance and have this kind of elevating themselves above others, Allah will break them. وقد أمره الله يستصغروا أنفسهم حتى يعلموا عند الله محلهم. يعني Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala ordered the prophets to be humble. What he said to Rasulullah, what he said to him in the Quran. واصبر نفسك واصبر نفسك مع الذين يدعون الغدي والعشي يريدون وجهه ولا تعد عينك عنهم تريد ايش؟ زينة الحياة الدنيا. The elite of Quraysh says, oh, the poor people, former slaves, are his companions, and if they move out, we'll come sit with him. We're not going to mix with Bilal and so forth. And Allah said, no. Those are the people to stay with. واصبر نفسك مع الذين يدعون ربهم بالغداة والعشي يدعون ربهم. They asking Allah in the evening and the night, and that's what makes them important people. Yeah. Then Imam al-Ghazali rahimahullah raised another concern. He says, then how a alim become humble with a person who is fasiq? You know what fasiq is? A person openly doing sins. How a scholar will show humility to the person that is not practicing and committing sins and so forth? How you deal with that person? Usually, what's happening now is something called holier than thou. You heard of that? You know, holier than thou? Or holier than others? And the person walking in the place like is a holy guy, holy woman. And therefore to look at all other people like mosquitoes. He made an example. There's some Sahaba, alayhim, accepted Islam. Before they accepted Islam, a person might say to people of no value. But Rasulullah saw value in them. Umar al-Khattab accepted Islam, radiallahu anhu. Khalid bin Walid accepted Islam, radiallahu anhu. There's some people that people have no value on them, and they thought that they're horrible. They will not become Muslim. And the same thing here. That can you look to every person as a potential Muslim? You know, there's something called Ummat al-Ijaba, Ummat al-Da'wah. You heard of this before? Ummat al-Ijaba, the people who accepted Islam, and Ummat al-Da'wah, the Ummah of potential Muslims. Potential. Even if a person does not accept Islam, like the people supported Rasulullah during his mission, they are neutralized. They don't hate Muslims. They didn't accept Islam, but they didn't hate Muslims. We should not ever write off anybody. It's not our right to do so. And that's why there's some people, even with their own family, they have made a decision, this person drinks alcohol, we're not going to talk to them, we're not going to visit them. This person does this, we're not going to visit them. This person does that. And they create a catalog, family catalog. This is halal, kosher, don't visit this person, don't say it. Imagine if the Sahaba did that, radiyallahu alayhim. I said, we want to stay at home. I said, I'm not going to mix with this. I'm not going to go to this at home because they do this. I'm not going to go to this. How people really influence people positively if you don't mix with them. This is one of the big mistakes. Religious people should not pass judgment because that's lack of religiosity. Yes. Yes. Bismillah. Very good question. Brother Uwais says, if what this is about protecting children, I agree 100%. But then you control the narrative. If you're going to visit them, maybe sometimes visit them without the children. But also invite them to your home, where you control the narrative. There's no drinking, there's nothing. You bring them to your home to visit. I'm talking about kinship, relatives. Then you're still socializing. And so if that person is sick, the person would not practice and is sick in the hospital, should you visit that person or not? Yeah, visit that person. Therefore, a person have financial calamity. Something happened to their house. Should we help that person? Yeah. Therefore, our problem is that sometimes we want to be in a comfort zone that Islam asks us to get out of it. Very careful. You want to be in a comfort zone, and he said, this is what sometimes go out of the comfort zone a little bit. You know what this is like? I do exercise in my counseling and give a person a pen, especially before they get married, for single people. And I told them, okay, sign your name. They take a pen and they sign their name. Then I tell them, take the pen, use the other hand, sign your name. They usually take longer and they do this and they laugh about it. And after they leave the pen, I said, which one of them is signature? They said, the first one. I said, that's not true. What's your signature? Definition-wise, it came from you. But you identify yourself as one of them because you get used to it. The other one required more effort. And therefore, people would like to do less effort getting out of comfort zone. And that's what you're supposed to do. Exert some effort, get out of the comfort zone, knock the door of the neighbor who's not Muslim, and check on them if you come to know that something happened in their house. You see them on the street, have a little talk with them, conversation. How are you? How are you doing? I heard that your son not feeling well. I saw the ambulance in front of your home. Everything is okay. We're here for you. Just like that. You get out of a comfort zone. By the way, not to divert from the topic here, but the idea of ta'aruf, get to know somebody, is actually get out of a comfort zone, because ta'aruf is go both ways. But you have to get out of your comfort zone to get to know someone, which makes us vulnerable. But vulnerability comes with possibilities. Al-Imam, rahimahullah, said that how can a person, al-alim, al-abid, the knowledge, the scholars, and one of the scholars, on TV, a woman called him, and she said, I'm married to a man who drinks occasionally. Should I divorce him? And the sheikh said, don't. Keep guiding him. As long as he's listening. Keep reminding him. She called later, a few months later, and said, thank you for the nasiha. My husband come to know that I asked about that, and so he quit. He didn't say anymore. I was prematurely about to divorce him. Therefore, sometimes how we treat people also impact how they respond. And by the way, I'm not giving fatwa in anything. I don't like anyone to misunderstand me. I'm not saying drinking alcohol is halal or something good. I'm just giving you how the sheikh looked at it. He asked her, did your husband beat you? Does he hit you? Does he not provide? Does he expose the children to anything? He asked her several questions. And she said, no. He said, don't divorce him. أصبر عليه شوية. Have patience and keep working on him. As long as he's not hurting you, not harming you, and so forth, work on him. And then he says, a person, even if somebody does not believe and looked at them and mixed with them, a person should have humility with that person. وَالْكَبِيرُ هُوَ كَبِيرٌ عِنْدَ اللَّهِ فِي الْآخِرَةِ. Is the kabir, the person of great respect, it is what in akhirah. And we don't know how we're going to end up our life. Allah knows that how the person is going to die. فإذا حق العبد ألا يتكبر على أحد بل إن نظر إلى جاهل قال هذا عصى الله بجهل وأنا عصيته بعلم. If you see somebody ignorance, he said that person disobey Allah, he doesn't know, and I know I should not disobey Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. فهو أعذر مني. والنظر إلى عالم قال هذا قد علم ولم أعلم. He looked at somebody have more knowledge than them, said the person knows what I don't know. How can I be like them? And so on and so forth. قال في ملاحظة الخاتم يقدر على أن ينفي الكبر عن نفسه. If a person knows, which is summarized here in this piece of paper, that's what the Imam is saying. In this religion is not how you begin the race. You know the race? It's how you end the race. The finish line. وَلَا تَمُوتُنَّ إِلَّا وَأَنْتُمْ مُسْلِمُونَ. Never die except in the state of Islam. And therefore, you cannot make an assumption. You know, there's a lady accepted Islam. When I came to this country, when I was young, me and a friend of mine from Saudi were looking for a haircut. Did I tell that story? And we asked, is there any place we can have a haircut? They said, in the basement of the building, there's a barber shop there, go and have a haircut. We go there and find the person that's haircutting is a lady. But we said, does any other man can do this? They said, no. I said, no, only me. I said, why do you think I will not be able to cut hair? I'm very good at it. I said, I'm sorry, I will not be able to do this. He said, why? I said, of course, physical contact and so forth with non-mahram, people who are not related to us. He said, what is this? I said, our religion. He said, I don't know what you're talking about. And we left. When we were leaving, my friend said that we should give her more I said, okay, well, we have to look for translation of Quran. And we found a translation of Yusuf Ali a week later. And I said, I'm sorry that we just were rushing, but this is our book. You had a book. She said, thank you. I've not seen her after that, except I was sitting in my office in D.C. The lady walked in and she screamed, said, it's you, it's you. I said, yes, it's me. She said, do you remember the lady had cut hair? I said, yes. She said, you gave me the Quran. I said, yes. She said, I became Muslim. I've been Muslim for 2 years. By myself. I read the whole book. And I went to the library of the Highfield, Maryland, public library, and I got a book called Islam in Focus. I knew how to pray and so forth by myself. And today I'm here. I didn't know you work in the mosque. At that time, I was a student. After my father passed away. She said, I'm here because my fiancé, about to come here. You're going to accept Islam and we're going to get married. Person asked me to marry him. I said, I'll not marry you unless you accept. Subhanallah. I said, how that happen? He said, when he gave me the book, the Quran, she said, I looked at the index. Look for haircut. Haircut. I found nothing in the haircut about haircut. I said, wow. And she said, okay, maybe if I read it from the beginning, hair gonna come. She said, I started reading it. Reading. She said, I was warmed by it. I said, what is interesting. But she didn't know my number. She didn't know where I live. She didn't know apartment building. She didn't meet me with that. But she used to see my father before that incident, coming in and out wearing a robe, a Sudanese robe and a turban. She said, we want you to wear your father's clothes to marry us. And I have their picture of their wedding. Appreciate their wedding. The point is that a person might cross out this person. You never know. Don't make judgment on people. You never know. One incident, one event can change someone's life. The other day that I was given a class, and somebody said to me, when I came to this country, I hated this particular group of people. Racism. He said, I heard a talk at the ADAMS Center. Somebody gave a talk and talk about the ayah of Surah Al-Hujurat. Ya ayyuha an-nas inna khalaqnakum min dhakarin wa untha. He said, he changed my life. He said, I dropped all racism in my head. I started looking at other people like anyone else. So, people's heart changes. If the heart does not change, Allah will not send prophet and not reveal Quran. Because Allah knows that people can change. That's why He sent prophet and messengers. Should not become arrogant believing that we can cross people out. And then he talked about also people who might do certain behaviors, and then we touched on them, mubtadi' and asi and fasiq. The conclusion of this section is that more knowledge we have, more humility we have. More knowledge we have, the more understanding that there's a potential in people. More knowledge that we have, that we believe that we can transform and change ourselves before changing anyone else. More knowledge that we have, that we know that we don't know anything. The more you know, you come to know what you don't know. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make it easy for us to seek knowledge and to understand, to comprehend what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will of us and who follow the footsteps of Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Any questions? Quick question. You know the word quick question? I've seen a quick question and fast question. But yeah. Yeah. Yeah, this is beautiful actually. Rasulullah he used to tell people, Ya ayyuhan nas ashiru alayhi. Oh people, give me your opinion. Because he wanted to tell them, I'm relating to you in the human level. Human expertise. I'm not asking for Sharia opinion. That's why he used appeal to their humanity. But Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam have used advice from a non-Muslim. He has, when he went to do Hijrah, the guide was not Muslim. Yeah. Yes. Make dua or dua, not make dua for them for guidance? Never. Never cross anyone, not ask Allah to guide the person until they die. What that? Yeah. Yeah, like when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent, do you know that Umar was one of the biggest oppressors before he became Muslim? He was beating the Muslims left and right, from the morning to the evening. Khalid ibn Walid caused the Muslim loss of Hamza radiallahu anhu. And those people are, we cannot cross people out. Because Allah may change their hearts. And when they change their hearts, of course, there's a way that to seek a remedy, forgiveness for wronging people. Yeah. Because if they been guided, their harm will stop too. You know? سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك لا اله الا انت استغفرك واتوب اليك اللهم علمنا ما ينفعنا وانفعنا ما علمتنا وزدنا علما اللهم نعوذ بك من علم لا ينفع ومن قلب لا يخشع ومن عين لا تدمع ونفس لا تشبع ومن دعاء لا يستجاب لا اله الا انت سبحانك انا كنا من الظالمين صلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى اله وصحبه وسلم